everybody, welcome back to the channel. I want to thank you guys all for such amazing support this year in 2020. My name is Pancis, and if you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please be sure to smash that subscribe button, because this channel has grown so much in 2020, and I really look forward from the bottom of my heart to all of the growth that we're going to experience in the next upcoming year. Today I'm going to give you guys a great update on what looks like to be the garage on this channel and bring you through each car. So if you haven't been introduced to them, now is an opportunity for you, if you are new to the channel, to stay tuned for more updates, because as you guys can see behind me, we have quite a bit of content and a lot of good stories to go along with them. So please be sure to smash the subscribe button if you haven't already, and of course comment below, give this video a share. And as always, if you have any questions or comments or concerns and you want to reach out to me at Pancis on Instagram, you can do so. I will link everything down in the description below. Thank you again for such an amazing year of 2020. Today is New Year's Eve, so I'm really excited to turn the clock to next year and bring much more exciting content, education, and all the rest of the enthusiastic world that the car experience has become on this channel here. This has been a lifelong dream, a lifelong endeavor of hobby since I'm a little kid. Since I could walk, I've always liked cars. In fact, I'm sure millions of you watching, or thousands of you watching, or all of you watching can relate to that. So I'm really happy and truly blessed to be here today with all of these cars behind me. And I know I'm not the only YouTube channel on cars. There's a lot of competition, but for whatever the reason of my growth is, I'm excited for it, and I really truly, at the bottom of my heart, thank you guys for all of that support. Happy New Year. Let's hop into this, because this is the ultimate, like I said, the ultimate garage update. So honestly, to be honest, I really truly didn't know where to start, because I kind of just scattered these cars at random, really, and parked them. There's no specific order to this, from the oldest to the channel to the newest to the channel, even though the newest is sitting over to my left, you're right. But here on this side is a project vehicle that hasn't really started yet. It's been sitting around. A lot of you guys on the channel have been wondering what is going on with it. I know a couple of you have asked me, whether it's in the comments or on my Instagram channel. This is a 2007 Saab 9.3 convertible. Not only is the roof a little leaky, which is not something I'm enjoying watch every single time it rains and snows right now, but the ECU needs to be rebuilt, and of course the fuel pump needs to be dropped. And with the weather and everything kind of going on, plus all the other action that's been going on, I haven't really gotten to any of that yet, but it will happen, I hope. We do need to save this car. It is going to be for sale, and I want to make sure that it is right and proper when that time comes. So that is an update for you right here on this 2007. It does need tires, it probably needs brakes, it needs a lot of love, TLC. The car's been sitting for many years, undriven, untouched. The front tire is leaking. It's just not so pretty, in my humble opinion. But of course, if you haven't been following the channel, we love saving Saabs. I love Saabs. In fact, it's always griffing up over here when I can. So we're gonna make this thing freaking beautiful again. We're gonna make it great again. It is very cold out today on this New Year's Eve, so I'm gonna just keep my jacket buttoned for you so I can stay warm. Let's go to the next car. That's an update for you on this guy. We're gonna make it good. I'm excited. Next up, guys, is my 2000 Porsche 911 Carrera. This is just a straight Carrera model. No specialties to that one. It's just a straight 3.4 liter V6 engine with a 6-speed manual transmission. If you guys haven't followed this channel with this car, I purchased this car over the summer as a new entry of a hobby car for myself. Not only is it a sweet car just in general to drive, but I've been getting into racing a little bit. There is a group local here in New Jersey called Track Experience that I've started to go to these events with, and obviously it's exhilarating, it's a lot of fun, and quite frankly it has completely changed my view on driving. I've learned so much just in 2 track days alone with this car on how to drive, how to handle certain situations. It's really just a life-changing experience, eye-opening experience when it comes to actually driving and all the technicals that comes at play with racing and just driving in general, and the things that you're trained to do from a young age on the road, which isn't true on a track. And I think it's for the better. So if you guys have the chance to go track a car and learn that, hey, might as well do it. I strongly advise. So an update for you guys on this. This car has been sitting in the garage for the last month with a cover on top and a trickle charger on the battery. Of course, today it fired right up, as you saw right here. All right, guys. You guys are watching this camera from the other distance from here, but I wanted to give you guys a point of view on a first cold start after 1 month. It's been on a charger, trickle charger. No problem. Fired right up. And it's running good. I just changed the rear pads on it a couple weeks ago, right before we winterized it. And the only other thing it needs, besides for me to drive it, is new tires in the rear. And outside of that, you know, probably in the springtime we'll change the oil just to freshen that up before the season starts. But in the meantime, it's been sitting in winter storage, not on the salt roads, with a nice clean coating, with a ceramic coating on the paint. As you guys can see, it looks pretty freaking awesome. So that's an update for you on this car. Let's go to the next car. This is my favorite car, besides for this one, obviously. I love this car, but listen, you're gonna see this car and you're gonna laugh. It's my favorite. Let's get into it. All right, guys, so this is my 2004 Saab 9.5 Aero. If you guys are new to the channel, in the last couple months, I was really lucky. A YouTube subscriber to the channel donated this car to me to rehab it, rebuild it. If you guys haven't watched the episodes, I'll link the playlist above. But this car came to me with rust and faded paint and other issues that we took care of. We did a lot of maintenance, a lot of servicing, and of course we painted the entire car with a cheap $700 Mako paint job. And quite frankly, I think it looks pretty damn good for what $700 can give you on a paint job. So this is my Saab 9.5 with over 200,000 miles. And outside of me just really driving this every day for the road tripping that I do, I drive in, you know, commuting or driving it to Chicago a couple weeks ago. I just been cranking miles on this car like crazy. Probably like 2,000 or 3,000 miles so far in the last month and a half, which if you guys normally drive, it's like 1,000 miles a month on average, is 800 to 1,000 average, national average. So, you know, we're cranking them out on this car. So I've been cranking the miles out on this car, and we just did a radiator and all of this work to it, and it's been freaking phenomenal. We got new tires on there. The only thing that's going on right now, besides for a check engine light, is I still have to figure out why the OBD port is not working. So we have to figure that out in order to check out the check engine light. But outside of that, I actually drove this car 100 miles this morning to pick up some errands and do some things locally here. And obviously the car runs fantastic. So besides that, the other thing that we have to do is we have windshield washer nozzles for this car. For some reason, these don't seem to be working. A lot of them, some of them cracked underneath, so there's not enough pressure to actually push the water out. So luckily, the way I organized it is the driver's side and this middle one both seem to be working. This one is not working at all. But if you guys live in a snowy part of the world and the salt weather comes around with snow, you have to have good windshield washer nozzles. So we purchased genuine original Saab parts. We're going to replace all 3 of those. And outside the check engine light and that, this car is fantastic. Well put together. So that is an update for you on this 04 9.5. As of this morning, we have 201,500 miles. A lot of miles. All right, guys. So the next vehicle up on the list here is my 2008 Saab 9.5. And if you guys haven't watched this channel, a year and a half ago, we rebuilt this out of a Copart accident. The entire front end was smashed in. Luckily, there was no airbags, and luckily there was no major frame damage outside the radiator support, which is something that's fantastic on these cars, because if you guys can see some of these accidents on these 9.5s, they can look completely mangled and destroyed, but all it is just the radiator support. And if it's, depending on where the accident is, obviously, if it hits above this line and it smashes here, then your frame is pretty much clear outside of the radiator support. And that, if you guys watch the build, just cuts out and you can weld in a new one, and here we are looking freaking beautiful So this car, if you guys haven't watched this past couple of episodes, we updated the headlights on them to really brighten them up a little bit more from the normal Saab halogen bulbs. And of course, I just got it done today for $100. You guys have to have a good relationship with your local shop guys if you have a Saab, and obviously I do. For $100, they put in a new oil pressure switch. If you guys aren't familiar with these older Saabs, this older Saab engine layout, obviously this is not that old of a car, but regardless, the pressure switch was leaking a lot of oil, and where it sits is behind the it sits between the block and the starter motor, and obviously getting to that on the driveway is very uncomfortable, especially when it's 25 degrees outside. So I brought it for $100. They put in a new pressure switch and oil pressure switch, and obviously that will solve the oil leak. The last thing that I have to do on this car, which I'll do today, is this vacuum check valve. This goes to the brake booster, the vacuum pump, and then to the intake manifold. These things have a hard plastic to them, and of course they can crack as they age. So this is the last part that needs to be installed on this car to really make it 100% complete. Obviously it's been running perfectly. We did the oil pan a couple months ago and some maintenance stuff, but outside of this, the next thing on the list besides an oil change from us driving it is subframe bushings, which we'll take care of in the spring because it's not super urgent, but it's coming to the point now at 100,000 miles that we should do that upgrade. So that's an update for you on this car. Really lucky with this car. It's been wrecked twice. I forgot to mention it wrecked again in January. Unfortunately, I don't drive the car, a family member does, and she happened to have another incident where she wrecked it on the driver's side instead of the passenger side. But anyways, here it is, looking better than it did the first time because we rebuilt it again. Let's get into the next one. So guys, next up is my 2017 Jaguar XF. This has the 3.0 liter V6 supercharged engine, which produces a lot of horsepower and a lot of torque. In the last episode, actually, I uploaded an update on this car. We put intake cones, open air intake cones on the intake system to really open that up and allow that supercharger to breathe and that engine to sound and perform the way it should with more free-flowing air into it. This just replaces my 2012 Volvo S60. So if you guys have been around the channel, I just sold my Volvo S60 and I actually had equity in that car, and it worked out where I just kind of rolled that into this and made this pretty affordable for myself. It's not too expensive to actually maintain it on a finance deal. So just word of advice, you can pick up a Jaguar and they're really not super expensive. And this car competes with the BMW 5 Series, and it also competes with the Mercedes-Benz E-Class. So if you guys want something of luxury with good performance and good comfort creatures, you can get into one of these pretty reasonable. And of course, it's a nice, it's a nice car. I'm not gonna lie, it's pretty awesome. One of the nicest cars I've ever owned, besides for the Porsche, and obviously the Volvo was pretty sweet. But for some reason, I drive this car maybe for 10 or 20 minutes a day just to come pick up this Saab, and I crank out like 100 miles a day on it. So go figure. This is an update for you on there. There's nothing really to do on it, obviously, except drive it. I'm gonna do some more performance mods to this car as time goes on. I hope you guys enjoy the content here, but I can just give you a little sneak peek. If you haven't watched the video on the open air intake, check it out. Obviously that's pretty enjoyable when you're driving it around. It's a nice sound, and if you're really getting on it, that supercharger just kind of screams in your ear. And if you're not a car guy, obviously you wouldn't do that, but obviously since we are car guys or gals, that's really freaking enjoyable. So that's the latest and greatest on the Jaguar. Let's get into the oldest Saab. I guess it's, yeah, this is the next car up is the oldest car on the channel. Every other car has come and gone because we just do great things with them. So we just allow other people to enjoy it, which is really a pleasure for me to build that content and obviously share the passion of these cars to other people who want to buy them. So next up is my 2002 Saab 9.3 convertible. Alright guys, so the next up is my 2002 Saab 9.3 convertible. We purchased this car back in 2015. It was really the push start of the entire YouTube channel here that we've created today. We bought this car for $1,000 off Craigslist. It had a blown engine. We towed it back here to the driveway, and I went ahead and purchased a new engine online, had it delivered to the house, and put it in the car. And for the last 5 years, it's 5.5 years. Actually, it's 5 years today that this car has been registered on the road. It's got 175,000 miles on it. The thing has its quirks and features like all Saabs do, or I should say all old cars, but for the most part, it's been a pleasure to have. It's never left us stranded anywhere, knock on wood, and there's nothing wrong with it. It hasn't been on the channel for quite a while because between Melanie not working and driving it every day, you know, it hasn't been breaking too much. And of course, as the age goes on, like you've seen in the 200,000 mile Saab, these things kind of seem to be rectified and everything's been fixed at this mileage. I mean, we've done a lot of maintenance over the last 5 years where we've replaced a lot of components, sensors, axles, bushings, so like there's nothing to do to the car. So again, the latest update for you guys on this is that the windshield washer nozzles, I bought 2 new ones again. We're going to replace them because they're also clogged up and barely spitting out fluid. And of course, in the salt weather, in the winter, that is not fun when you need to clean your windshield. So that is the update for you on this car. It's been driven quite a bit over the last couple of years. It's been sitting quite a bit this past year, which is fine. But it still runs perfectly fine, and that's an update for you on that. So guys, I really hope you enjoyed this update from me here on the channel. Again, I really, from the bottom of my heart, sincerely appreciate all of you guys' support and everybody that subscribed to the channel this year. We've grown 4 times what we had a year ago, and I really think and look forward to and are very excited to see what 21 brings in terms of subscription growth and view content growth and everything that comes along with a successful YouTube channel. I'm gonna go ahead now and fix up this car and call it a day because my hands are starting to get numb. And I really wish you guys a happy and a healthy new year. And of course, as always, like I've said before, please like, share, subscribe, and I truly look forward to bringing a year of new content to you guys. So thanks again, enjoy, and we'll be in touch soon with more videos to come. See you guys.